Welcome back to another episode of Security Skates. This is your host Paul, and on this episode we will be going over the community beautification project that is happening at Watts Serenity Park. This is part of the ongoing year-long community beautification project that we are doing at Watts Serenity Park and Monitor Skate Park. This is for the May cleanups. Let's jump into the May 2nd cleanup. We have my lovely mother behind the table as usual. We have our Office of Community Beautification information out, trash cans, buckets. Got our info for the Cycle Rage 3 that was happening on June 13th. Had our spare parts, our snacks, our water. Got my faithful deck, all our cleanup tools, and our signage. We were ready to go. Beautiful day out here in Watts. Always a pleasure to be back out here at Monitor to get this cleanups going. I was ready to get some of this stuff knocked out today. All this overgrown shrubbery and that tree bush by the forest there. Definitely wanted to start attacking that. I came into it super hyped, ready to completely tear down that tree. That did not happen. I wanted to work my way over there, so I wanted to get started on this patch right here where I left off on the last cleanup. The area that we did last time was looking pretty good. Definitely tell where we stopped and where we needed to get started again. So, had the shovel out. Wanted to get started on some of this stuff. Gonna start blowing some of this dead leaves and debris over off of the forest there. Get that cleaned up. Always super hyped to get out here to Monitor. Looking back on it now, I'm realizing how much work we actually had to put in to the skate park. Took about 6 months to get this thing done. But at this stage, we had about 4 bags of trash. Started cutting off a whole bunch of that tree bush that's by the forest there. Didn't really get any video of me starting to work on it for the first time, but dragged a lot of it over here, as you can see there. Going to be an important note, that's where I left it stacked. I assumed that the cleaning crew would get that cleaned up, but we'll see what happens with that in the future videos. Going to get a couple of before and afters going on here. Here's that bush before, and after I put some work in on it. Here's the grass patch I had started to work on in the first part of the video. Here's the after, coming along real nice, looking real good. We're going to jump into the May 16th cleanup. Let's go. It was a beautiful Saturday out in Watts this day. Had our setup again, had all our buckets out, our information, sign-in sheet, refreshments, main trash cans, signage, tools. Park was looking real good. Gonna get a little roll across real quick. You can see the tree bush is coming down step by step. This is near the forest there. One of the things I love about doing these cleanups out at Monitor is that because Watts Skate Park is just about a block away, that there's not really a lot of people at this skate park, and when they do come through, they're usually interested in what we're doing and want to help out, get the park cleaned up just to have a little bit more fun with it. If you're familiar with Monitor Skate Park, I mean, it's a great place to go and skate and just warm up. You could do laps there all day. It does have a little bit of a funny setup. It is a very small skate park, but nonetheless, it has a lot to offer. Love Monitor Skate Park. One of the reasons we chose to focus on this park this year. You can see the tree is really coming along at this point. I didn't realize how many little branches were intertwined in that bush. Crazy how much work it took to get that thing taken down. You can see that there. So just being focused on working, I didn't get too much video of me doing work, but you can see this here, the before and the after. My goodness, what a difference. There were also some weeds over here. I did have some weed killer, some grass killer that I brought along on this trip. And here, 5 months in, there were starting to be weeds growing up in the area that we had already cleaned in the previous months. So I wanted to stay on top of it. Got some really great ideas for these areas inside of the skate park in the last months of the cleanup. Going to try and plant some plants, maybe some flowers, some roses, something along those lines. But over here, we're starting to clean up by the forest there. You can see, my goodness, what a difference. I know I put a lot of sweat in to get this tree taken down on this day, but it is such a pleasure to see the fruits of all the labor. Now, I knew there was going to be a lot of branches coming out of this thing, but I didn't realize just how many there were going to be. You can see this was the pile that we stacked up last week after we cut down the first half. We had tons of bags of trash. I think we ended up with a total of 9. Actually looks like 11 this day. Now realizing that the city wasn't going to be attending to that pile that I had left there, I definitely wanted to get back the next day and get some of that squared away because it was starting to dry and become a fire hazard. But we're going to get back over to monitor real quick. Definitely coming along, looks so much better than when we first started in January. You can see that whole tree bush thing is just a stump now. Definitely taking pieces off it as we go in the coming months. Going to try and get it completely taken out of there. It is just so intertwined, and we're into the thick parts now where it takes a chainsaw and a handsaw, all kinds of good stuff to get in there. But absolutely love doing the work. Going to give you guys an update on the patchwork that we had over by this bump. It is holding up very well. The Bondo worked fine. I do want to still do like a top layer, kind of smooth it out, but I can definitely vouch that it is in much better condition than when it was just a big old hole there. So glad that Bondo's working out there. Here are some of the sticks from the tree bush that I was working on. I knew I was coming back the next day, so I just kind of stacked it up and tied some caution tape around it. Going to show you the before and after from the following Monday when I went back and got some work done. Check this out, y'all. Yep, looking real good out there. Also tended to that dry stack that was over by the trash area. Here's the before and the after. Just a little sweat and elbow grease. No big deal. We are going to move into the May 30th cleanup. This was the third Saturday in May, so I was hyped to get out here for a third cleanup in this month. Ready to get started. The park was looking real nice. Had our stump now over there. Gonna take some of that off piece by piece. Could actually see through that fence now. Have our usual setup, our signage, our tools, my faithful skateboard. Have our spare parts, our signage, our promotions. Cycle Rage 3 was going on June 13th. Really cool event. Go ahead and check out that video. It's already been uploaded on the YouTube. Have our snacks, our $1 wax, our Watts Serenity Park Community Beautification Project signage. Nice bright day. Beautiful day out here in Watts. Monitor Skate Park is near the Willowbrook Rosa Park station. Near the rail system. You can see that there's a lot of trash over there on that side. Looks like somebody's dumping, maybe a homeless kind of situation. But inside of the park was definitely coming along. Did decide to leave a couple of trees, and those things were flourishing. Had our stump here. Wanted to try and give you a good look at it before I got to work with the mini chainsaw. That thing came in real handy. This is what it was looking like before we got started on it. You can see down to the stump where it's real intertwined, getting real thick. Check this out, y'all. That mini chainsaw came in real handy. Now admittedly I had never had much experience with one, but as I gain my little techniques and work with it a little bit more, it is definitely a handy tool to use. But in that, you need to be real careful when you're using that kind of stuff. Can easily take off a finger or slice open a foot or something. Over here you can see there was a kind of like a grass area, a lot of debris right there. Gonna give you guys a quick before and after. It was mostly like dead grass and wood chips and stuff. Got that all picked up right there. Looking real good. Now besides the stump, this was pretty much the last area of Monitor Skate Park that I really wanted to clean up. So it definitely felt like a checkpoint, making it over to the gate area, getting all this area cleaned up along the fence, along the side, back over behind the big quarter pipe. You can see here, had a new trash can going. Definitely wanted to get that forest there blown off again. Did knock quite a bit of leaves and debris into the area while I was working on that tree. You can see there were leaves over here in the little bowl areas. Wanted to get that stuff cleaned up too. At this point, the biggest problem was the leaves inside of the park. Around the park is pretty squared away. Might need a little tending to, but it is looking a lot better than it did at the beginning of the year. See here, using that leaf blower. Comes in real handy when we're trying to get cleaned up and wrapped up for the day. Get it all nice and into a dustpan. Get that squared away. Now at this point again, there are starting to be a lot of dead leaves that start to build up along the gate area, along the fence here. So probably going to start doing that every time we come out. Just kind of get it swept up, cleaned up a little bit better. See that here? Get that stuff blown onto the other side of the fence. Still had a couple piles over here. Looking real good. Had a couple of skaters out here helping out with the cleanup, getting in the bowl, getting up some of the dead leaves in there. Good times. Did want to make it over to the other side of the fence and get some of those leaves that I had blown out of the skate park and into the park area picked up. If you go back into earlier videos from where we started, this was pretty much the first area that we started on in January. And now we have made our way all the way around the inside of the park. On this day we had, let's see, 6 bags of trash. Mostly leaves and broken branches and dead grass, stuff like that. Did notice that this tree had cracked. You could see that one there. Started to split. For sure gonna have to report that to 311. I have not yet done so, and it is still there in the middle of July. So we'll see how long it takes to get that squared away. There it is. Monitor Skate Park. Looking real nice. Now that we are this far into the cleanups, I can honestly say that this has been a pleasure doing this, coming out here to Monitor Skate Park and getting it cleaned up in this manner. Here is our setup here. A big shout out to Skate Park Respect. Go ahead and check them out on skateparkrespect.org. Become an ambassador today. Get cleanups started at your skate park. A big thank you to the Office of Community Beautification from the City of Los Angeles Board of Public Works for lending us the tools we need to come out here and get this kind of work done. Be sure to check them out online if you want to get a cleanup started in your neighborhood. A huge thank you to Skate Park Respect for promoting keeping your skate park clean all around the world. If you are not doing so yet, be sure to follow Security Skates on Instagram at security_skates to keep up with the next skate meets, lessons, and cleanups. Security Skates Productions is a privately skater-owned independent enterprise and skate parks advocate. You can find out more about us by logging on to securityskates.com. This has been your host, Paul, signing off. Now get off of YouTube and go skate, y'all. Happy skateboarding.